Hey guys, my name is Sanjay and welcome to the Engineer Wannabe YouTube channel. This is the Seiko SJE093 and wow, I've been getting inundated with questions through social media and whatnot. So I figured I might take the opportunity to answer a few of them in this video. Again, going to be a little bit of a lower effort video, so apologies if it's not that polished. Just gonna focus on answering some questions and spending time with you guys. So if you have any more questions, leave it in this video and I'll try to answer them for you as well. But let's blow through the questions before that. I don't need to do a wristwatch check because this was the watch I've been wearing for the past 24 hours. I have owned this watch for 24 hours now, so I guess this will be kind of like a first impressions and answering questions kind of video. But the other thing I want to mention is that you are infinitely valuable. You really are. A great price has been paid for you and you're worth it. You really are precious. And I hope you know that. Alright, so starting with the first question, which I've heard quite a few times, was I the first person to get this in the entire planet? Obviously I have no way of knowing this, but my thought process is absolutely not. There's no way I'm the first person to get this watch. If there is no other social media posts, that doesn't mean that I was the first to get this watch. Obviously there might have been other people who received the watch way before me and just don't really have a social media presence. So I know that the gentleman from Carrot & Co., who is very kind and friendly, I've spoken to him a few times in the past, but I know he had one on social media too, so there's no way that I'm first. I don't know if that was his particular watch. Maybe I'm the first to buy one and post it on social media. I don't know. Again, icebreaker question. Okay, second one is strap length. So this is the strap. As you can see, I took it off really quickly from the watch. The strap length is egregiously long. I understand why. If this was a professional dive watch, you'd want to be able to put it over scuba suits, scuba gear, or whatnot. But chances are very slim that this watch is going on a scuba suit. It might, and if so, I think Seiko, considering the price of this watch, could have added a second tailpiece here, or a second strap. They didn't even have to do a second one because this length is actually quite good. The one on the buckle side length is quite good. They could have made a shorter version of this, stuck it in the watch. I mean, not in the watch box, but in the presentation box. And there would have been more options. As it is, I cannot really wear this. It is a bit too long. It sticks up way past over the edge of the side, sticking up through the back of my wrist there. It does not look good, in my opinion. Comfort-wise, it's incredibly comfortable. I was talking to my buddy Clayton from the Watchdog podcast last night. We were talking about how insanely comfortable this silicone is. And it doesn't seem to attract any dust or anything like that. So great strap. It's such a shame that it is so long. Maybe there will be an option to purchase a smaller or shorter version in the future, but as of now, I'm not wearing it on that strap. I'm wearing it on this Artem sailcloth. I was able to get the buckle, the Tang buckle, out of the strap and put it in here without any modifications. So really happy with that. No modifications needed to the holes. And this is a short strap. Artem does not have a short version that I know of, at least in the 19mm version of their strap. So this is a 20mm version that has been squeezed in. And it's squeezed in pretty well. It doesn't look like it's been squeezed in. There's no pinching that I can tell. So it's working out really well. I do like the comfort of this strap. and it's versatile. It can, in a pinch, it can be worn as a dressy strap, right? Sailcloth I find is way dressier than rubber, even though it's not dressy per se, but it's dressier. So everything fits seamlessly. While we're on the topic of the buckle, it's unfortunate that Seiko didn't sign the buckle in any way, except for that. It would have been nice if we had a Seiko engraving right at the top here, near the thumbnail portion of that buckle. It would have been nice, but it's a beautiful buckle nonetheless. Don't get me wrong; it's substantial, it's thick, and very well finished. So it's a great buckle, but it would have been nice to see some branding on it. Okay, next question. Accuracy. Accuracy is a good question. I have not checked it. I checked it 24 hours ago or so. Actually, 12 hours ago. What am I doing? Pardon me here. Let me get my time.is. Okay, let's see here. So 2, 22, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. That is almost bang on. I think it's half a second fast. So I set this right to time.is. I'm pretty sure this is half a second or so fast in 24 hours. So that's with it resting overnight in my drawer and being worn the rest of the time. So accuracy is incredible. It's only been one day. That can change, right? So I'm hopeful, but I'm very pleased at this point. Only half a second in one day. That is good. But yeah, cautiously optimistic here. Cautiously optimistic. Okay, loom pip. So this I didn't notice at first until a few people mentioned it. Let me bring my phone back here. So this is the SPB 143, right? When the ISO certification standard changed, they had to shoehorn a loom pip into the 3 o'clock position. It encroaches into the minute track. They completely removed one of these hash marks and really shoehorned it in there. It looks horrible. Once you notice, it's hard to unsee, and maybe some people might not mind it. I kind of do. I can live with it, but it's kind of shoehorned in there. It's kind of ugly. So I thought, hey, this is great. Seiko didn't bend to the ISO standard here. But, they actually did. If you look closely at the 3 o'clock on the minute track, there is a loom pip, a tiny one, and it is really bright. And Seiko managed to keep the certification. I'm guessing it's an actual diver's watch, diver's certified watch. So there is a loom pip at the 3 o'clock position. It is incredibly well implemented. It is done so well, and I'm really really happy with it. It doesn't. Yeah, it's just the best you could have asked is for a loom pip like that to be able to disappear, and it does disappear until you need it. So really well done. The date is really well done as well. It evenly replaces that loom pip at the the index at the 9 o'clock position. Everything is well balanced on this dial, and it's just a joy. It really is a joy to read the time, to stare at this watch. It's a real joy. If you, I don't know if you like distortion, but my friend Corey and I were kind of chatting about the incredible distortion. It's like ice cream. I don't know why I'm thinking ice cream, but I'm thinking just a very, very nice and soothing cone of ice cream. It's just nice. It's just so good. Okay, so loom pip at 3 o'clock. Surprise. I did not know that. I do now. Movement. We were talking about accuracy. We'll talk about the movement as well. 6L37. How is it different from the 6L35? I'm not quite sure. Seiko has mentioned that they made it a bit more shock resistant. and done a few modifications to it. I'm a little skeptical. I tend to be a little skeptical. I mean, maybe it is more shock resistant in some way. Maybe they changed the movement spacer in some way. I'm not a watchmaker. I haven't cracked open the back, nor do I intend to. But the 6L37 is apparently different from the 6L35. I have had a few experiences with the 6L35. Again, not to be confused with the 6R35. The 6R35 is their lower mid range of movement, and it is notorious for being completely inaccurate, and inaccurate yet very reliable, I suppose. That's the pro. But incredibly inaccurate and inconsistent. So that's what it's got a bad rap for that. The 6L35, on the other hand, I've had nothing but good experiences, albeit I should mention that I've only had 2 other experiences with a 6L35. I own this SJE093, which is the Alpinist Recreation, and I own the SJE093, which was a frosty dress watch from the Presage line from a few years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago. So I've enjoyed my time with the 6L movements, so I think this is worthwhile, especially the cutting down of the thickness. Now, speaking of thickness, it's good to note that lug shape. It does have a nice, very subtle but nice curvature to the lugs. The lugs are nice and long too. Gives it a very sleek profile. I think that's very pleasing to the eye. And it tends to allow the watch to wear really flat on the wrist. I think the fact that the lugs have this curvature allows the watch to sit very, very close to the wrist, very planted. And I do enjoy it. Let me zoom out a little here. It's a dream to wear. Really is a dream to wear. Yeah, I don't know if there's a better Seiko diver out there. At least at the point of this recording. Another question was steel. The steel. Some people were asking if it was ever brilliant steel. You know, when I first held it, I actually did have that thought run through my head. And I did check a few spec sheets to see if it was ever brilliant steel. It does seem to have like this luster to it that was reminiscent of ever brilliant steel, but maybe it's just the quality of the finishing, Zaratsu polishing, so on and so forth. But I'm quite certain this is not ever brilliant steel. It's just 316L steel. So it's just very well finished steel, not ever brilliant steel. Okay, the big one here was to compare it with the Blackberry 54. Unfortunately, I can't do that. I no longer own the Blackberry 54. I really couldn't rationalize owning this and the Blackberry 54. I don't know if that makes sense. I also have the Blackberry 58 Bronze here. So the best I can do here is to compare it to the Blackberry 58 Bronze. In terms of finishing, the Blackberry 54, just if you were to pretend this was the Blackberry 54, you got high polish on the side of the Blackberry 54, and I think the polishing quality on the Blackberry 54 would have been equivalent to the Seiko here. And the Blackberry 54 had a beautiful bevel, going down the sides of the watch. There's no bevel here, but you have a more brutish faceting of the watch. As you can see, it is very Grand Seiko in its design language, if you know what I mean. So there's no elegant bevel. It's more of a brutal faceting, while the bevel in the Blackberry 54, I must confess, is very nice to the eye, especially when it catches the light because it's high polished. Of course, the Blackberry Bronze here, everything is brushed, so you won't notice a polishing. But in terms of dimensions and wearability on a smaller wrist, the Blackberry 54 kind of loses out there because of its lugs and the case profile. The dimensions are quite similar. The Blackberry 54 is a bit thinner, but lug to lug is very similar. I made a mistake in measuring the lug to lug yesterday. Lug to lug on the SJE is 46.3 millimeters to be accurate or precise. I mean, so I've got 46.3 lug to lug. Then Blackberry 54 is around 46, but the 54 has straight lugs that jut straight out. This one has this curvature to it. And so I think this watch is more comfortable to wear on a smaller wrist. Those things are completely irrelevant to you if you have a slightly larger wrist than mine. So if you have a 6.5 inch wrist or so, you can completely disregard the whole curvature thing, because it's more of a problem for a smaller wrist, in my opinion. I think that covers a lot of the questions that I had. I was given at least the common questions. Let me do a quick side-by-side here with the Blackberry 58 Bronze. You can see that the dial, dial is probably about the same in terms of size. The Blackberry 58 has a larger bezel. I haven't measured it though, but the dial size of the SJE093 is 29 millimeters. Case size is 37 millimeters. Blackberry 58, of course, is 39, famously known for that. And yes, I've got number 253. Pretty stoked about the low production number. And I compared these two yesterday as well. This is my Planet Ocean 39.5 millimeter. You can tell the Planet Ocean is way more stubby. It's squat. It's fatter. It's squatter. It's a bit more weird and less elegant than both the Blackberry 58 and the SJE. But the Planet Ocean has its own charm and its own pros and cons, which if you want to look up a review, I'm sure you'll find mine if you did a quick search. I did a review on the black model, but yeah, so let me put all three watches side by side, hopefully without damaging any of them. There you go. These are the three divers in my collection, and I'm really stoked about the SJE093. So a lot of people also asked, which I didn't answer, how it compares to the Blackberry 54. I would say this watch is equal to or surpasses the Blackberry 54 in almost every metric, except for maybe the movement, specification, and quality, and brand prowess. A lot of people give Tudor a lot of clout or a lot of weight in terms of brand equity, because it is Rolex's sister brand. Seiko, Seiko's given themselves a batter, or not a batter, that's not a word, a bit of a lower name, I guess. I don't subscribe to that thought process. Obviously, I'm a Seiko grind Seiko guy, but I can't deny that Seiko is a weaker brand because of the mall watches, maybe, and the ease of accessibility of Seiko watches, how cheap they are. All this snobby stuff. Seiko, the brand, tends to have a worse reputation. But so other than the movement and maybe the brand equity, the Seiko SJE is better or equal or better in almost every metric. This is just a excellent watch. And I should also say there's no bracelet. So 3 metrics. Blackberry 54 has a bracelet with a T-fit clasp. Some really nice stuff going on for it there. This is expensive, and you really have to be a Seiko person to want to spend the money on this guy. But I think for me, this is the watch this is the watch to own for me in my collection, I think. So I'm really happy about selling the Blackberry 54 in order to purchase this. All right, guys, that's really it. Let me know what you think. If you have any other questions that I didn't cover here, let me know. I'll try to answer them for you. If I am scrambling for time again and I can't answer all the comments or type out an answer to all the comments, maybe I'll do another Q&A style video. All right, everyone. It's really cool. I didn't realize I was one of the first people to get one of these. I knew I was close to the first, or close to being one of the first people to enjoy this watch. I didn't know I was that close to being the first. So thank you, everyone, for your kind words, for your encouragement. Also remember, you are infinitely valuable. You really truly are, and you are worth it, and you're precious. Other than that, guys, take care, stay safe, and see you in the next video. Bye.